Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. C.S. Lewis. The past few days have been super exciting for me. As most of you may know, Hagbard Celine was gracious enough to invite me to make a video for his channel while he's on vacation. And as a result, I've gone from just over 60 subscribers to just over 500 in 2 days. I know it's a very low number in the greater scheme of YouTubery and hardly worth getting worked up about, but I honestly never envisioned having 10 subs, let alone even 60. So 500, that's huge to me. Super huge. Super huge, man. Super huge. You know what I mean? Anyway, so for me, having this sudden influx of people watching my videos and leaving such kind comments and providing me with constructive criticism that only a spotlight onto your work can give you, it's been really awesome for me. For that, I'll never be able to thank our friend Hagbard enough. I'd also like to thank all of you for your support. Maybe this is the ground floor of something big, or maybe it's the summit. Either way, I'm going to do my best to keep doing what I've already been doing with a genuine spirit and a hunger to grow as a human being as well as a content creator. Whether you plan to adopt the term equalist or not, I know we share a common core of ideals, and I look forward to expanding my understanding of the world, and who knows, maybe we'll grow together. I don't want to make this any bigger than I already have, though, so today I want to look to one of my favorite writers and a few of his quotes in the never-ending search for wisdom. C.S. Lewis said, "Humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less." This particular quote hit close to home for me. I've always been the sort of guy who uses self-deprecating humor to draw a laugh and try to cover up my insecurities. As a teenager and into my early 20s, I would have categorized myself as one of the quote-unquote nice guys, especially when it came to relationships with women. I was definitely a white knight before white knight became synonymous with male feminist, but I wasn't any better. What I came to realize, and what Mr. Lewis's quote highlights here, was that in my crusade to be a good guy who was better than all of the assholes the girls dated, I was transformed into something far worse than those assholes could ever have been. I believed that humility was thinking less of myself, so I picked on myself constantly. I despised my own weaknesses, and everything good that I did was in the name of my own goodness. In other words, I was a self-serving jerk with blinders on so I couldn't see anything but my own goodwill. I was saving my female friends by throwing their asshole boyfriends under very large buses, serving as the hero in my own story, but the villain in everyone else's. To me, this fits perfectly with the current climate of feminism and social justice in our society today. So many young people are convinced that they're saving the world with their ideas and their cries of oppression. In reality, they're only serving themselves and their own rhetoric, valuing their thoughts and opinions above everyone else's, even though they are in the vast minority in terms of their way of thinking. C.S. Lewis also said, "Education without values, as useful as it is, seems rather to make man a more clever devil." The Gen Xers were the first generation to really reject traditional values, and now we've got their children in colleges with no foundation of values and morality, absorbing ideas without a moral compass to inform them that some of those ideas are objectively wrong. They lack the desire to be rational and believe that truth is a social construct that impedes progress. If you look for truth, you may find comfort in the end. If you look for comfort, you will not get either truth or comfort, only soft soap and wishful thinking to begin, and in the end, despair. Safe spaces and trigger warnings are devices of comfort. Almost every single feminist and social justice warrior you encounter will tell you about how they have to cope with anxiety and depression on a daily basis. It is their rejection of truth that feeds their despair. And it is their despair that makes them reject the truth, because if they accept the truth for what it is, then they have to accept the reality that they brought the despair upon themselves. They bought into bad ideas. They spread divisive, hateful propaganda that created the sexism and racism and transphobia and Islamophobia and homophobia that they scream and shout against through their megaphones and on their Tumblr blogs. The question then becomes, if the foundation of morality isn't there to begin with, is it even possible to break these people free from their social justice indoctrinated prisons? Or is it just a waste of time and energy? Does the fate of our way of life just lie in the hands of numbers? Imagine in 20 years living in a world run by people who believe that whiteness is as evil as original sin. Truthfully, I don't know. I feel like I spend so much time doomsaying that I sound like a conspiracy theorist trying to convince you that the US government has an underground city built and supplied in the Midwest just waiting for the end of days to arrive. That's not me, I promise. And if you do believe that, well, we can still be friends. Just don't get mad when my eyes glaze over as you tell me the government uses a weather station called HARP to induce earthquakes in Japan. What I do know is, if you feel compelled to spread what you believe is truth, that's what you do. It's what the social justice elite does. It's what the feminists do. And it's what I am going to continue to do. If I can open one person's eyes to a different way of thinking, then it will have all been worth it. Oh, just doing my part to stave off the end of Western civilization as we know it. No big deal. Anywho, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please give it a like if you liked it, and I'll holler at you later.